You can do nothing more than be yourself and do your best.
Yeah, this sucks. I'm already about to give up. When you smell, you want to smell with your mouth slightly open. So I wanted to break out a 16-year-old in celebration.
That sounds wrong.
A big thank you to our sponsors for making this show possible.
Gavin, it's so awesome to have you on the Fred Minnick Show. I've been a huge fan of Bush really since you all came out. We're a big part of the 90s, and I feel like all the bands I grew up listening to, like you all are one of the few that are still together and just crushing it. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I was so happy to come, and I didn't understand the nature of the show, and so I said, yeah, they said, do you want to drink some bourbon? I was like, well, I kind of prefer tequila. Then when I was reading up about you, I saw you're a bourbon expert, so I had to apologize.
That's all good.
You're an expert in one field, and I'm just what about tequila? So
well, look, I have a spirits competition where I taste everything. In fact, we got a Bramble here, a little tequila cocktail.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Cheers. Now
Cheers.
this,
Refreshing.
yes, this looks really good. I'm totally gonna spill this on myself.
That's delicious.
Oh, that is delicious.
There's a vacation and a drink all in one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then also, we got some fruit here. So that's it's healthy. Got the vitamin C, right? So
It's all good. Now, my bass player, Corey, is an expert at drinking bourbon. But I don't know, I've never met anyone who's a real, so did you have to study that? What did you come up through that? Like sommeliers, because sommeliers are wild, right?
Yeah. And I actually was in wine for a bit. I trained under a lot of master sommeliers. And by the way, sommeliers drink way more than bourbon people. They'll drink 2 or 3 bottles of wine. And it's they don't even get intoxicated. It's crazy. But I came home from Iraq. I was a soldier, and I came home from Iraq in 2005. And I was a writer, so I started writing about whatever I could. And one of the things I was writing about was wine and spirits and food. I know you're a foodie, so I was covering the food world. And at the same time, I was like a lot of soldiers, where I had this. I was in this place where I was not doing well, and I got in therapy. It saved my life. But one of the things that you learn when you are in therapy is there's a point of you know what, I'm going to be okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're finding happiness. When it comes to finding happiness, sometimes it's that next level. And my therapist introduced me to something called taste mindfulness, which is very similar to mindfulness. But instead of, focusing on your inner being and everything, you're focusing on what you're tasting. And you
had a therapist that made you focus on bourbon? So
well,
cool.
She did not make me, no, she
I
wasn't.
love her. She's incredible.
It was started on a barbecue potato chip, but I took that technique and I started applying it to wine and spirits. Now, there's not a therapist in the world that would say, go, you're in therapy, you need to start drinking. But what I learned was,
I don't know.
What I learned is that tasting actually helped me want to drink less. You talk about your bass player, talking about how he's this incredible drinker. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a drinker. I'm a taster. But so actually, that's kind of how I came into being a taster. Is
that's incredible.
Going through this journey of finding myself and self-help and that sort of thing. So
yeah, it's a big thing that I think about a lot. Is the mental health of service men and women coming back? And just I just hope there's enough support, because there doesn't seem to be. It's a real kind of burgeoning hole.
Yeah.
So it's great when you find something.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing. Good for you. Let's cheers to that.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Gonna know you've
and the vacation.
Oh, this is delicious. We got a few more things to taste, but I kind of might just want to drink that the whole time. But I know you've been very public lately about your own mental health journey and focusing on that. And it kind of talked me through your process, and I also want to applaud you for like being so public about it, because that's not easy.
or English.
That's true.
We just told you grin and bear it. I think that it comes to do with us looking at your life, and seeing what, if you, outside of family, and I have an incredible bunch of children that give me meaning to my life, but, often, if you ask yourself what the meaning of life, and I think a lot of it is of finding yourself in sort of, not in servitude of others, but in pursuit of something. And in my case, it's something that other people can share in. But it's really getting to the heart of what you do best, what you can do, And for me, surviving all these years in music is first off really shocking. You know what I mean? I'm really shocked by it. But I think that what I've come to realize and sort of lean into is that the one thing that separates each band from others is the words. It's the words and the subjects people choose to sing about. And as the further along I got, I realized that, because that old adage of you sort of, songwriters basically write one song or two songs, but in different ways all the time, And for me, it's all about mental health. It's all about adversity and challenges. And I think that life is really hard. A lot of the time I was just writing with a beautiful friend of mine who's in this bizarre position of having just lost someone really close to him. Who's a very famous musician, Steve Albini, and they just made a new record together. And I was complimenting about the record and seeing how he's doing in that recovery or process of grief. And it's just really hard when you hear what people are going through. So my point is that I've always liked to write about things that get to the heart of the matter, like of how people feel, how people are, because it's not a usual thing to be open and to lay yourself bare, and that really helps people to connect with you. And I think that's what's really gives my life meaning. And so the deeper that I can write the songs, without taking myself too seriously, but the deeper I can write the songs that really gets to the heart of things, the more effect I know it has on people. I meet people all the time who have got a lot of power through the songs and through the band and stuff like that. And of course, that's the greatest compliment anyone can give you, is that they were on an edge and you pulled me back. I hear that all the time, like all the time. So the power of music is so intense, and the power of mental health and being open about it, especially for young men who've had to deal with so much in this society is quite hard,
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned, you kind of joked about, was that, being English, you're not permitted to essentially, be open about that.
Complain.
Yeah.
We don't complain, not really about complaining. And I think it's unbelievable, the things that I know that I went through in my life. Not a therapist in sight. And now here, somebody like trips over the stair and they're like in therapy for like tripping. And so it's just like, people get really, really into it. So the middle ground is good. I've done lots of therapy in my life, and I always reach a spell where I start to be just like really boring myself. Just like, God, I'm boring. Because there's a school of thought about too much therapy. You start to sort of develop this thing like, okay, it's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock, 9 to 11, we speak every week. So what's wrong? Nothing today, actually. I feel really good. It was yesterday I was really having a hard time, but appointments today. So I kind of get a bit bored of it, but I think it's really good. I like it when they really make you do what people call loosely, and I never understand what they mean, the work. I like it when I say, if I meet a therapist, and I've had different therapists over the years, I'm like, but I want you to give me a real exercise to do. I want you to be really insightful. I don't want to just tell you for 1 hour 40 why I don't need a therapy. Right. That's what I tended to do. Burn for 1 hour 40 about why I don't need any help.
It's interesting. Like I had a massive amount of what they would call worksheets that I'd have to fill out, like exposure therapy that I had to do to kind of get over some certain traumas. And basically, including the taste mindfulness and the aromatherapy, all that stuff was really built to give me tools to cope with situations that I find myself in. And I'm a father. And I find myself like right now, I'm away from my kids and my family, and sometimes there's not any like coping mechanisms that can help you get past like missing your kids. And you're on tour all the time. You're on tour all the time. I know you love being a dad. What are some of the things that you do that kind of help you manage your mental health and like missing your kids while you are on tour?
First off, I find the balance. If I didn't have them, I would tour a lot more. So I try to find the balance. But the thing about it is that it's a straight swap. When they want to, move somewhere rural and not eat sushi anymore, and not live the life they love, I think there's something in it that there's something honorable about being a man and taking care of your family and your kids, and that just involves sacrifice. And so you feel a bit, it's horrible. Some days are horrible and some days are really long, and you have to be careful not to fill the days with kind of going to a bar to feel better through the day,
Yeah.
because that's a sort of a law of diminishing returns, so that doesn't work so much. So really is this about looking at it from this perspective of doing essential work. No one buys records anymore, so I can't sit and mope and moan about that. It's sort of, I can't be a Luddite and say the world hasn't changed. So if I go on tour, but I love going on tour, and it feeds a part of me. And I don't tour. I have done it in the past. I've gotten the balance wrong, and I've toured excessively. But since I got divorced, and I've been really kind of like a single parent, not too long. There will be some time coming up. There'll be 5 weeks because they go back to school in September, and I'm on tour then, so they physically can't be with me. But they're older now, and it's okay, and it's I definitely feel I found the balance. And the most important thing is that I have an amazing relationship with them. So
Yeah.
that's the testament. It's not like I'm not making up ground. I don't buy excessive gifts to make up for sort of lost time. I'm not a sad dad like that, I'm completely present, completely with them. So that's okay. I feel good about that. Like life is all balance. And you hear this a lot of people talk about older people, the very successful people, when they die on their deathbed, what's the biggest regret of life? It's always working too much. So I found a good way of like trying to work a lot, but also like I'm taking them on this amazing vacation coming up in a couple of weeks. In 3 weeks we go to London and to Italy, and so just taking them away, and we haven't done that since before COVID. So
Wow.
super excited about that.
When you were teaching them to drive, or during that process, are you listening to Bush while you're driving?
I am not. I listen to Bush when I'm checking mixes. I don't, or I've forgotten how to play a song, so I got to rehearse it, But in terms of easy listening, no, I don't really do that too much, which is weird because it's like I think it's something to do with the fact of like I'm so involved at every aspect of the songs that when they're done, I just share them, and then that's it. And I don't listen to them again unless I have to refresh my memory how to play a part.
Do your kids listen to your music?
The greatest compliment I've received recently in the last few years, or wherever maybe, we don't talk about that stuff. Like I don't push it. You know what I mean? I got 2 guitar players and a piano player and 3 boys. And so I don't push it. I let them. I think it's really important for men who have boys to let those boys be independent and evolve and develop. And they have loads of character traits before us. And I like the kind of tiger dad bit, but I also like the kind of, as they move into their teens, you've got to let them be. So the other day, I'll tell you, I went to my son, who's just turned 18, his school, they did his music class, did their last class in the auditorium, whatever. And his third song was Everything's In.
Oh,
my
wow.
song. So I didn't know he was going to do that. And then my other son, Zuma, is like playing in the house. He'll just be playing my songs, singing. I'm like, he never asked me about that at all. But he's singing my songs. So that to me is a kind of like coolest, most wolf-like behavior ever. You know, they're not
That's
like,
incredible.
they're not sort of pandering and annoying. They're just sort of doing it, learning it, and then I'm hearing it. I'm just like, God dang. And I did have this idea I could be like the Blue Man Group and send them just out to play bush shows.
That's awesome.
I'd be with you sipping cocktails with fruit.
Listen, I'm all about it. Are you ready to taste something neat now?
Sure.
Okay. So I was looking. You
And
have,
then another thing. No.
So you have a 16 Stones is now in what year is it now? You're on an anniversary year right now.
Yeah, it sure is. I think it's, well, I'm not sure, but it's touching on 30 is what I heard.
So I wanted to break out a 16-year-old in celebration of
That sounds wrong.
of that incredible.
I didn't like the way that sounded.
Oh,
This
that's-
is visual, right? This is,
You know, I do sometimes
did
forget.
not like that.
I do sometimes forget that not everyone's in the
age
same
of consent.
mindset as me when it talks.
I thought you were
talking
going to
whiskey.
say the age of consent. That'd be hilarious.
But
We
cheers.
sound like whiskey drinkers. Cheers. Corey's going to be proud of me. Corey, this one's for you. So tell me about this before I,
So
what shall I be?
So this is a 16-year-old
ice.
Kentucky bourbon. Let's train you up right.
Okay.
So you start by kind of like analyzing the color, because when it went into the barrel, it was clear as the water from your tap. So the darker it is, usually the older it is, or higher the proof. And so it's kind of like an album cover. You know, you're looking at it, gives you an indication of what you're about to taste, like an album cover is to.
Thank you for saying that, because I spend a lot of time on album covers, so it's very important.
Is there an album cover that you have a favorite album cover from Bush?
Yeah, my next one.
I love it. And so you swirl it around and you just
Still
kind of
swirling.
see how
My
it
bad.
goes. You bring it to your nose. When you smell, you want to smell with your mouth slightly open. So, don't open. So you all right? So now
I'm very metrosexual, you know.
like little like this right here. Like to open your mouth slightly and kind of go side by side. And you should be picking up some sweetness, some floral,
I am.
some fruit.
The crooked fruit, like burn.
Yeah. Oh, caramel action. And this is the part of the taste mindfulness that I've adapted into tasting spirits.
Right.
And that when you put just a little bit, like a thimble-sized amount on your tongue, just focus on the part of the tongue that you feel it. And it's basically broken up into 4 quadrants: the tip of your tongue, the middle toward the back, all the way to the back, and then the sides. Just put a little on your tongue. What part of the tongue do you feel it most prominently?
Center front,
Center?
where I put it.
So everyone's tongue is different, but for me,
Good.
that's where I feel the savory and the sweet notes.
Mhm.
So when you taste that again, focus on that part of the tongue and see if any flavors pop to you.
Yeah.
And you basically, what you're doing here is you're just like trying to connect into the memory bank of your brain to your tongue. Wow. That's it. So one of the things that I've read on you recently, you talk a lot about it, are ice baths. You're really into ice baths.
So into ice baths.
They freak me out.
They should. They're terrible, but the effect is, I had 2 this morning. I played tennis this morning and then like sit in the infrared stretch and then go in the ice bath, and it's 42 degrees. I did like 3.5 minutes. And actually now I've begun to do different things. So I do my vocal warm-ups in it. I do 5 warm-ups 5 sounds in a minute. La, whatever, 5 seconds. So I just take my mind off the fucking horror of how cold it is and like everything is wrong. And I keep this hand in because it's tennis. Then I just go with my fingers to here because my guitar, it really messes with me, get it too wet. So I sit like this in there and it's just brutal. It's brilliant. But you feel incredible afterwards. And I do the multitasking thing, which I think is really sexist. There's been noted that men can't multitask. And I think that's living proof that we can. And I do that so that, because if I sit there and look at the 3 minutes, it's like, it feels like it just feels like an age. You stare at it. So it's amazing mind over matter. You just ignore it and you just like go through it. And it feels I play so much. I'm physically exhausted, but I feel fantastic after I've done the ice bath. I don't feel like normally I'd play like a 25-year-old and walk away like a 70-year-old. Like, oh my God. I'd gotten to accept that picking up things after tennis, I was going to be slow at it. I'd begun to accept that in my life. And then since the ice bath, I just feel great. I haven't done anything. I just feel a bit exhausted because I've overdone it recently, but I can't recommend them highly enough.
So what keeps me from doing it is like, I feel like, you know, my business is going to freeze off if I get in there. You know, I don't know.
Oh, there is a reversion. There is a revolt. Yeah, there is a revolt.
Like,
no getting away from that. But you know, you're all right afterwards. That's not. It's not a good look. Don't get photographed coming out of it.
yeah, definitely don't be the shrivel thing. Is real.
Babe, I was just in there. Darling, what happened?
So one of the things I'm going to blame this guy over here, our executive producer. You know, he's enamored with this ice bath thing.
Oh,
and we don't exactly have an ice bath in here, but he wanted us to both hold an ice cube to see who could hold it longer for like an ice cube challenge. I was like, Gavin's totally going to win this. You down?
Yeah, I'm down, but I'd really like to because I could, my hand, I've got into really cracking this hand. And so I'm always up for a bit of ice.
All right.
Came prepared.
Oh boy. All right. Let's grab our ice at the same time.
Can we do it with the gold leaf?
Gold leaf.
Okay. What about the drip?
If it drips.
Are you prepared for the drip?
All right, here we go. Yeah, this sucks. I'm already about to give up. So you're used to this.
Well, I'm not quite used to like physical. That's just under 32. Water freezes at 32 degrees.
Yeah.
So one thing I did here that was really cool. My friend Doug, who is David Blaine's assistant. He does an ice bath, right? So he's at 32.
You're not feeling this at all? This is you're just like talking through this. This is like nothing.
That's my jam.
This is like my joke.
We're on a podcast, right? Or you want to be silent? Subtitled. We're gonna have dialogue.
All right, I can't.
8 years later. So
do 5 minutes.
So
I thought I could do 5 minutes.
Not check this out. So what David Blaine did was, David Blaine, he's so crazy. They were in the.
Bax's has become a big part of my show because I personally buy whiskey from there because I know where the whiskey has come from. I have confidence in the authenticity and how it was stored. And so that's why I buy from Bax's, is because I have zero questions about it at a time where we have a lot of questions where some of these rare bottles come from.
So, one of the things that's kind of going on in the world right now is artificial intelligence. We're starting to see it in whiskey. It's crossing over into whiskey. It's in music. It's everywhere. What do you think of AI?
Well, I think it's incredible that the world is moving so fast, and things have been. Everyone's been replaced for years. You know, I suppose it's like Darwinism, but against machines. I don't think that you sort of have to embrace the future. I feel, and like it's really about getting to know how to use it the best. I haven't had much success. I've tried it for lyrics, putting some funky prompts, but the lyrics aren't very good. There's literally nothing to rip off. It's annoying. So it hasn't quite got to like great lyrics yet, but I'm sure it will. And life is about being adaptive. I mean, the idea of sort of stopping and putting your hands on your hips, or like, doing a stop sign to progress into the world. I think you just got to it just seems such a waste of time. All effort should be into how do you integrate, how do you adapt to that? Like for me, I keep thinking I'm not being smart enough, knowing how many things that AI can do. Not it's going to overtake my job, because I have a specific job. So it will overtake my singing soon or my writing soon, but not yet. Like I'm going to tour this summer. I'm going to be playing at the Greek around the corner from here, and AI can't touch that, and that can't touch that human experience. And people are always going to want human experiences. I don't think people will be void of that. I think they just like get rid of all the bullshit. And I mean, I'll tell you what's crazy. People are so dumb. So check it out. Right near me, like so being foodie and I've gone shopping, got a Whole Foods. They had this incredible system set up where you walk in. This is the cold water one. You walk in, you just get your shopping, put it in a bag as you go around, and then walk the fuck out. And it was the best thing ever, right? And then I went there and they said, they changed it back. Now you got to stand in line, you got to do that. Someone go, dig, aisle 7, I've got a price for these avocados. And ding, ding. And I said, what happened to the streamlined modern AI way? And they go, oh, people just didn't use it enough. People were concerned about it. So en masse, people are just really stupid. It's like really dumb. It's like their life could have been easier. They walk in the store, they get these things and walk out, and you get a bill from Amazon. So people are really scared of progress, and I don't know why.
You're still holding the ice like it's nothing.
It isn't. It is. It's just ice.
This is incredible. Like, I mean, my hand's like, it's still like cold. Like I'm not saying that's frostbite.
Oh, mine's too, but actually it feels good because I've been clicking my fingers, and it feels good.
So maybe I should look into this because like I do have like a little, so I'm in jiu-jitsu and I'm always pulling and all that, and my
Jiu-jitsu is amazing.
It is incredible.
I would do it, but I'm so terrified about my neck, and a lot of it's around the neck.
Well, you know Maynard from Tool.
Yeah, he's super into it.
He's in black belt.
Super into it.
And I think there was a time where he might have gotten choked too hard, and I think he missed us. I think he missed a show a time or two, but he's on tour. He won't get choked.
Yeah, it's tricky because there's so many moves are involved in the neck, don't they? So neck.
Yeah, basically there's the blood choke, right, where you get the carotid artery here. Then there's the trachea choke, which I've had my trachea pop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was very sore for a couple of weeks. So this new one here, this is a different style of American whiskey, and then we'll finish up.
So what's this made from?
This is made from rye, like what you would get rye bread. So bourbon's made out of predominantly corn. This will also have rye in it, but it's predominantly corn. This one's going to be predominantly rye.
Wow.
So cheers.
Cheers.
Remember your training. Now you're holding a piece of ice.
I kind of want to put this ice in there.
You can, yeah, if it can fit.
I finally got some use for that ice. While you're not looking, messing up your bourbon. Breaking hearts in the bourbon world.
Oh, they wouldn't mind. They're just going to be excited that you're drinking bourbon.
Yeah. That is smooth.
That's nice.
No. Fuck it up. People get trashed on this, right? I was wondering that when you do 100 tastings in a day, I was looking at your stuff.
Yeah.
But what do you spit it out after?
Yeah, I'll spit in that particular scenario.
So that was a big gulp. Now
Yeah.
what happened there is
Yeah.
that wasn't my tongue, that was mainly in my heart.
Yeah.
Why is that?
That's the
solar plexus.
That's the Kentucky hug.
I just got hugged.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you forgot your training. He was like,
Really good. I overdid it. This is my nature.
all
That's
good.
smooth, buttery, caramel.
This is a special, very special rye whiskey. Big fan. So, do you notice a difference touring today than say in the early 2000s or 90s?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I think what's weird about life now is that you kind of have to edit things better, because when you first start out, like there's no horizon. There's no horizon. You're just like starting out, you're dumb and young and just want to get going, and then when as you get older, you kind of realize, well, hang on, those 30 years. So now you can easily quantify how much time you have left if you're lucky, you know? So it's really basically turned me into, I think, a better at just getting the most out of every day, out of everything I do. Nothing that I do that I don't try and get the most out of it, because I see it all the time. Too many examples. And I'm not being morbid, like things can be taken away. I'm going to get hit by a bus on the way home. I don't live forever. But I do think that, you know, if I play the Greek coming up, can I play the Greek 3 more times in my life, 4 more times, 5 more times? Therefore, I have to be white hot when I play it, or else there's no point. So I feel like that about everything every day. It's an exhausting pace in a sense, in some ways, but it's not being a perfectionist. Well, it's being a perfectionist, which doesn't mean you're perfect at anything. It means that your head is in the right direction for where you want to go, and then you do your best that day. And you can do nothing more than be yourself and do your best on any given day. And outside of that, we're taught to sweat so much stuff, and I wasted so much time in my life worrying about parameters miles from me, either behind me or in front of me. It's like, just sing in tune and connect with people that like your band. That's what I've got to do. And that's what so in any single thing that I do, try and do it and the best I can, you know, and get the most out of it. And I think you can enjoy life like that, you know, and it also gets you through the bad times, because life is not finite, or life is finite, excuse me, and therefore you have a responsibility to garner the most quality for yourself every single day. And if you don't, why didn't you do that to yourself?
I've talked to a lot of singers who performed in the 90s, and they talk about like how they would get many a number of undergarments thrown on stage.
The bras have got bigger.
But it still happens?
Of course it still happens, you know, but I don't know, no. Yeah, little bits. I love it. People just feel free. People just become who they, like, best versions of themselves. Like, my whole thing is that we did the production for the show, and it's like, that's my vocation in life. So therefore, I just want it to be people have the best experience, you know, and that's it, you know. Quality is everything.
Well, we're going to go to a little closer to where you grew up. This is Scotch.
Oh, yeah.
This is a 22-year-old Scotch. This won Best in Show in my spirits competition, the Ascots.
Wow. So the Scotch, I'm Scottish, I'm a McGregor. I am a Scottish, proud Scot.
How often are you sipping Scotch at home?
Never.
Oh.
Never. I don't drink bourbons until I came here. That's why I said tequila, and I felt so bad when I saw that you're a bourbon expert.
That's
brilliant.
You've more than made up for it by holding that piece of ice the entire time.
Oh.
The leaf is almost ready for you.
Getting for that leaf. Okay, so tell me about this guy, Pete.
No, this won't be peaty. This is a Speyside. It's a single malt, 22-year-old. So you should get like a lot of like honey, some grapefruit kind of notes. But this is pretty rare, and it's pretty damn good.
Cheers. I think it'll be easy tonight.
And these kinds of bottles, but you can't really.
Yeah,
we got to work on how much you take down on that first.
I know, but it's so fun to just let it rip. So I like to ride the line. Yeah, that's my instinct, is to just always impulsively do too much. What's that made out of?
So this would be made out of 100% malted barley. So you've had.
How did I get to call it? That's amazing.
So this is a Scotch. So Scotch and bourbon are different types of whiskey.
Yeah.
And so that is a single malt from Scotland. You had a Kentucky bourbon and the Calumet 16-year-old. And then you had a rye whiskey, the Michter's 10, and then you had tequila. Normally, I do not encourage people switching spirits like we have here.
Yeah.
But well, we're here
I
tasting.
have a Kentucky orgy going on.
You get the hug that's now turned into an orgy.
It's an orgy. No, that's my favorite one.
I love it.
All glassware for the Fred Minnick Show was given to us by Whiskey, including the cocktail glasses and the tasting glasses. You can get your own. Go to Whiskey.com. That's Viski.com. Enter Fred20. That's Fred20 at checkout to get 20% off of your Whiskey glass. Cheers.
It's too smooth. It's really smooth.
The first one?
I would love to put this ice. This middle one, the second one, the rye.
Oh yeah.
I would love to throw this ice in there, and I would be happy. But
Well, let's do it.
no, I don't. I feel bad.
Let's get you. Let me get you.
No, I don't.
You sure?
Yeah.
Let's
no.
get you a piece of ice on that.
Can I have a touch of ice in it? Can I see how it feels?
let's do it.
The difference for like. Yeah, I can drink it.
There we go. We're gonna put it in. I could have given it to you to drink. So we'll do this. You want to use your ice there? Or you want to get a new?
Oh, fresh. Like, come on, that guy looks too good.
There we go.
That I love it. What do you call this ice? Big ice like that?
This is just clear ice.
No. It's in bars they call it. Was it tiger ice?
So this one is,
That's more than enough for me.
you'll get a good taste of it here.
No, they call it. What do they call it?
So it's as simple as clear ice, but they brand it.
Right. No, I think I was in Cabo just recently, and when I ordered it, I was drinking tequila there, and I would have a tequila, and I say 1 piece of ice. They say, oh, tiger ice, I think, or something.
Oh, the big cube.
Yeah, the big cube. It's elegant.
Cheers.
Cheers. Is it slightly seen as weakness to have it like cooler?
No, I don't think so. No, when I'm tasting though, I am tasting to be like teaching people how to taste like a critic, and so we don't really add ice or water when we're critiquing. So you got a full on.
But I was fast.
Yeah,
I hit them.
you broke the rules, Gavin. You're a rule breaker. You like it better with ice?
I'm so sorry, but yeah.
That's all good. It's all good.
It's smooth, but smoother. It's cool smooth. It's like a bong versus a joint.
Yeah. So as we kind of wrap things up here a little bit, but is there anything new and exciting that you're doing now, personally or professionally?
Yeah, I'm about to finally. I've had. It's been a bit of a long journey, and I think I could safely say we're pretty much there. We're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I'm going to be doing I have a interview show that's based on cooking.
Oh, that's right.
Rockstar Kitchen Chronicles. Rockstar wasn't my choice, but Kitchen Chronicles was. So there you go. In England, you can't really refer to yourself like that, but apparently here you can. So I'm doing it. And it's an interview show, much like this, not dissimilar, but the difference as well is I just cook for someone and then interview them. Well, I cook in the first segment, and then I make a nice dinner, talk about that, but then I interview the person who's coming and don't really reference the food too much. If they do, like I don't, if you come for dinner to my house, I'm not gonna make you eat something and I stare at you, so I don't like that. Just make food and talk and find out about creative people that we know. So it's got more shoots in September, so towards the end of the year we'll probably bring them out, but I already shot Tom Jones and Jack McBrayer and some time ago, and it was just amazing to sit down and find out about Tom Jones, find out about his life, find out about what makes him tick, and then similarly with Jack McBrayer, who's from 30 Rock, was an amazing comedic actor, Wreck-It Ralph, and he was kind enough to come on the show with me, for me, and getting to know him through that in that show was incredible. So I'm doing that, which is pretty exciting, because that's awesome. That's been years of no. Yeah. Everything's years of no until it's a yes. And people should know that it just takes this mad tenacity. I'm like a Scottish drunk, I always say. Like, you gotta to say no, you gotta kill me. I'm always gonna get back up in the bar and be like, what's up? And so I'm gonna get to make that show. And my clothing line, Sea of Sound, is going also great guns. So that's in a good, well, it's we've got it in the right track. I've had a clothing line for a while. It hasn't been sort of square pegs and round holes, and now we finally got it set up nice. So I'm in a good position. The ice baths, you know, this tour coming up is really big for Bush.
It's awesome, man. Well, I've been, you've been incredibly influential on me in my life. Bush was my favorite band in high school, and I got to see you all on tour when you came through Oklahoma. It was very rare.
Where do you live?
I grew up in Oklahoma, in the Oklahoma City area, but I live in Kentucky now. And where I grew up, we never got the A-list bands. And when you all chose to play in Oklahoma City in '96, I want to say it was,
That's great.
that was a rare moment for our music scene.
Oh wow, okay.
Because we usually got people, you know, when they were on their way out or on their way up, but you all were there, and it was rare for us. And so
Yeah,
it's exciting for me to sit down.
we're all
with you.
one step away from on our way out.
What's that?
We're all one step away from that. But but you have to come and see the band on tour, either to Kentucky or here. I don't know how often you'll be here, but Kentucky, we're coming through. I'm sure we're coming through.
I saw you perform with one of Danny Wimmer Presents festivals.
Yeah,
not too long ago.
That's so fun.
So you've definitely.
That's so fun. That was with Slipknot.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite bands. One incredible band. Now he is one of the great singers.
Okay, Corey. Yeah,
I think he's, to some extent, he's not underrated in terms of his, you know, Slipknot's an incredible, massive band. And no one ever, he is a ridiculous singer. Like I watch him, I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that?
Yeah, it's funny because he does. You know, he has his own.
Yeah.
You know, he does his own
Solo stuff, the Stone Sour.
And he's got Stone Sour. It's like,
But it's just the versatility of his voices.
Yeah.
Really, as a singer myself, I'm kind of in a bit of awe of him because he's so powerful.
wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I still cannot believe you're holding the piece of ice, and it's done.
But like, just it's helpful, therapeutic.
Well, that's what we're here for. Therapy.
There.
We're here for
Cheers to
therapy here
that.
on the Fred Mix Show. Cheers.
Look how good that looks.
It does look good. It does look good. Cheers.
Like I'm gonna want to drink that, not this.